Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. We are officially starting our very first kind of purge, kind of taste test. I'm just gonna call it a purge because you guys know what the purge is. It's a little bit easier just to call it that instead of a taste test. But because I do have a lot of books from this subscription at this point, and it is becoming a purge situation, as well as just books that I've bought separately that this book box actually did. I just didn't get their versions of it, so I'm also gonna count those in here, kind of sneak them in here because I just also need to read this as well. Based on the title of this video, I feel like you guys can guess that we are talking about Allurial, which is the sister spin-off company of Book of the Month. And you guys know I've been getting Book of the Month for quite a long time, and I really am enjoying, to be honest, the look and the feel and the quality of Allurial so far, because I originally did not get Allurial because I didn't think the prices were worth it at the beginning. So I'm going to pop up their website right here because we're going to talk generally about their website and every single month. And then I'm going to show you kind of like what I have and what we're going to do for these videos, because this is going to be multiple videos. Like, there is way too many books here for this to be a single video. It's probably going to be quite a few because I don't see myself DNFing a lot of things.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
So it does look like Allurial started in July 2025, and they originally didn't do like their own covers. It was just like the regular covers that you would find in the store, plus the little Allurial logo. And that's why I did not find it worth it, because I think the price, oh gosh, I don't remember the price. I'll pop up the price right here, but I know the price is kind of comparable to what you would find in store because it's expensive now. Like, books are just really expensive. So these romantasy books, generally, hardback at least, are, I mean, they're going anywhere from $30 to $35 with deluxe editions. So it kind of just depends what you want in a special edition book, because these are the original cover plus digital edges on there. But for me, a lot of the value decreases because it has the little Allurial signifier on there. So if they were not to do a sequel for a specific book, to me, it's just better to get the original cover unless you really, really loved the sprayed edge that they chose. Now, obviously that changes later on because we are in the era of them doing completely redone covers, which to me add significant value, especially if you really, really like them. Again, you do have to worry about a sequel not matching, but for me at least, like, if it's a book that I really, really like, I won't be super upset having a limited edition, totally different cover of the first book, and then I just have to get the series in a different thing. That doesn't upset me as much because I am knowingly making that decision, knowing that there might not be a sequel. At least it's like its own collectible thing. When you have just these like original covers with the little Allurial thing on there, to me that loses a lot of its value. So personally for me, I did not get Allurial until they started doing alternate covers. So we're kind of just going to be talking about Allurial in the general sense here, and I do have a couple of these books. So anyway, July 2025, their picks were Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy, which is a book I did DNF. Forbidden Alchemy, I didn't like Stacey McEwen's other series, so I haven't picked this one up, and I haven't heard the best things about this one. I heard a lot of the similar things, like it's just kind of boring. So haven't picked it up, might still try it, but I did not get it from Allurial. A Dance of Lies was a 5-star. I got that from a book box and I absolutely loved it. So I actually think that was a really good pick. But out of the three, 1 of 3 to me was a good pick. Looking at August 2025, this is where we start getting interesting because I actually own Arcana Academy and I own In the Veins of Drowning. So both of those will be in this series, even though I did not get them from Allurial. So here's my copy of In the Veins of Drowning, and here's my copy of Arcana Academy. And for me, again, it just wasn't worth it to get it from Allurial because this was, how much was this? This is a deluxe edition, a very nicely done edition. I got this. If I like it, it will match any sequels that come out. This was $32.99, and I think Allurial is like $27.99, something like that. Again, I'll pop it down below so you guys know, but I do know the Allurial is cheaper, so there is that aspect. But if they don't do the sequel, you're not going to have a matching copy because of their little Allurial thing on the side. So for me, it was more worth it to just get this edition. And then definitely for this was more worth it because this was, what was it? $19.99, so that is cheaper than Allurial, and it doesn't have the little Allurial signifier, and it will match with the paperback copy that comes out for a sequel. So for me, that was worth it. I have not heard anything about Wrath of Dragons, so I don't know if that was a good pick. But for me, this was a good pick month, so I would just say 3 out of 3 because I don't know anything about Wrath of Dragons. Oh god, there's a fly in here. I thought it was a wasp. We have an issue with wasps in our front yard. Like, it's really, really bad. I thought a wasp got in the house and I was like, oh my god, but no, it's just a giant fly. So if you see a fly or you hear it, that's what's happening. Moving on to September 2025. Again, this is an okay month for me. I do have a copy of Wild Reverence, so we will be having that in this, but I did not get it from Allurial. I have the UK edition. I don't know about this. This was something I bought to read for a different video for the Reading All the Romantasy picks, and then I just chose not to read it because I needed more time with it. So I'll say a yes, since I did buy a copy, I will say it's a good pick. Song of the Hill Witch, I've never heard of. And then The Entanglement of Rival Wizards. I haven't loved Sarah Rosh's books, so to me that's a bit of a miss. And again, they didn't do the first book in that kind of like, is that the first book in the series? She has like a bunch of different series that I'm a little bit lost. That might be the first one, but there's a really pretty regular edition, so it's kind of meh. So I'll say 1 out of 3 there. Then we have October 2025, and I believe this is the last month where there's not... Yeah, because I think The Sacred Space Between, that is an original cover, but the other 2 aren't. So October 2025 is the last 0 original cover months. And this was, again, this was an okay month. I actually have a copy of Anathema, so that also will be in this little series. So that is my copy of Anathema. And because there's like been a new release of Anathema with like a deluxe edition, again, don't think it's really worth it to get the Allurial one. I do have a copy of The Ordeals, which is a very nice copy. So again, don't think it really is worth getting from Allurial, but I still think it was a good choice. And then Vessalus, hated. Hated Vessalus, DNF'd it. No. So I'll say 2 out of 3 were good choices. So, I mean, their choices for me, they kind of match what I like. This next month, not as much. So Sacred Space Between. This is where we get into where I started purchasing Allurial. I did not buy it this month. I actually bought it, I think, yeah, the next month. I bought the previous month's copy. So my first purchase really was December, but I bought the November pick for that. So we ended up buying The Sacred Space Between. It is an original cover, and it's really nice. I mean, they have foiling, they have effects, font is different. This is actually like separate from the cover, so this is actually puffed up. So I mean, they have like fully customized cover here, so I'm actually really impressed with this. It's not just a flat cover like what Book of the Month was generally doing before, which they do a lot more now. Our Vicious Oaths was a DNF for me. I did not like that book. It is very... I do think that book was a little misleading. That's more like erotic fiction in my opinion. It was very sex forward, really no storyline. So for me, that was a miss. And then Thrown in the Dark, I actually don't really know anything about, but I heard it is a little bit cringy, so I'm gonna say it's a miss. So for me, 1 out of 3. Now I feel like December 2025 is really when they start hitting their stride and start realizing kind of what they want as their company. And so we have completely redone covers here. And so I know a lot of people are a little bit grumpy because they do have a more animation style or like a cartoonish style to their covers, but I kind of like them. I kind of like them. I do think they need to have a mix. We Who Will Die, actually own it, but it will not be in this video, so it is just over there. I did buy As Many Souls as Stars. Beautiful, lots of foiling, and I forgot to show underneath. They have like artwork and stuff underneath, which I really appreciate. And the edges are actually really nice. I don't love this one, but I do like some of their other edges. And then I actually did read The Wolf King. I just don't have this cover because I don't love this cover, but I did give The Wolf King like a 3.5. So I would say this is 3 for 3 with good choices here. Then we have January 2026. I only got 1 from this month, if I can find it, and I love this cover. I think this is such a good cover. The Book of Blood and Roses, I love this. So I did get this from them. The edges are phenomenal. This whole design is great. Again, I just really don't like the Allurial signifier in the corner. I just wish it wasn't there, but can't really do anything about that. But otherwise, I think this is a beautiful addition. And then I did not pick Avowed Vengeance or The Wolf and the Crown of Blood. I actually want to read both, so I would count this as a 3 for 3 great pick month, but I don't like those covers. So for me, it's a 1 out of 3 for cover design. I didn't like the other ones, but apparently they did well because they're sold out. They are definitely selling out their designs, which is causing a little bit of drama. I'm in the Allurial Facebook group, and people are very angry in that group. I think it's a little extreme how people are responding to stuff selling out, but you know, it is what it is. But anyway, I'll say 3 for 3 for picks, but we only have The Blood of Book and Roses to actually read. February 2026, we have all 3. We own all 3. I did not buy all 3 from here though. So I do have a normal edition of Heart's Gambit. Again, I didn't love the design. It's okay, but I actually like the original one, and I did actually get this from the publisher. So this one will go in this video series. I also ended up buying The Lies That Summon the Night, which is really pretty. Like it's very pretty, and I like the edges. And then I obviously also bought Half City, which I have high expectations for, and I love this design. Like I absolutely love this cover. I think it's stunning. Don't love the edges much, but I do love this cover. So I would say 3 for 3 here. And then March 2026, we have 2 from here. Again, I don't know anything about the A.K. Caggiano book series, but it is nice they're doing sequels for that. But I do have To Cage a Wild Bird, which is my 3rd copy of it. So this will be in this video. I will put this one aside because we're going to talk about this one first. And then we also have We Became Darkness, which people were freaking out about. This is one of the editions that people were having a meltdown over, that it sold out as fast as it did. And they did order like a restock of this one because people were, I mean, acting like it was the end of the world that this one sold out, which was crazy. It took a whole day for it to sell out. That's what I thought was kind of weird, is how people were panicking. Like it didn't sell out in 10 minutes. It took all day for it to sell out. So I was a little surprised how much people were really having a meltdown over that one. And then we have April 2026. I actually have the box still unopened for that one. And I did buy 2 from this one. I did not get Bloodbound because I am getting it somewhere else, and I don't care for this design. It's whatever. But April, I think all 3 are good choices, 3 for 3, but I only did get The Wicked Sea and City of Iron and Ivy, which we will open up now. And again, City of Iron and Ivy also sold out, and people are freaking out about that one too. So I think it's a good thing that they're selling out, because that does mean that a company is more willing to continue making books, because they just don't have like a bunch of overstock. Because that is the thing. If a company has a ton of overstock, that means they're losing money and will be more likely to shut down or stop doing big customizations and stuff. So I'm fine with them selling out. I would say if you want to get Allurial books, you do need to order them that morning that they come out. Otherwise, you do run the risk of them selling out. They haven't sold out within minutes yet. Like everything, it's taken the first day for stuff to sell out. So I would say at least order within the first couple of hours. So that being said, let's look at the 2 that I got for April. And they do have really nice packaging. Like I do like how they package stuff. They definitely understand that they are charging more for these books for reasons. I mean, there is full customization with these. They get that these are more expensive, and therefore they make the packaging significantly nicer. So this is the box, and they always come wrapped up like this. And it is 2. I didn't think they were that chunky, but they feel a lot chunkier than I thought. Ooh. So here are the books. And then we also get whichever one you pick as like your book of the month, you get the bookmark. I do wish that they offered an option to add the other bookmark on for like $1.50 or $2, because I would definitely do that. But here is the bookmark, and I'm glad I did that. I totally forgot that's what they do, and I almost picked the other one, but I wanted this bookmark. Like, it's so pretty. Like, even if I don't like the book, like, this is still a good bookmark to have. We got City of Iron and Ivy. It's not my favorite cover, but I really didn't like the cover of the original, so I was fine with getting it because I do think this book sounds really good. And I do actually really like the edges on this one. So a little bit boring on the spine, but kind of a bit boring in general. But again, I didn't like the original cover, so I'm fine with getting this. And then this one's so pretty. The funny thing is, I don't know if I love the idea of this one, but the cover sold me. Like, the cover absolutely sold me on this one. And it is The Wicked Sea. It's beautiful. Like, I'm so impressed with this. So it does match, obviously, this. And then the edges are pretty nice. I think their edges probably are their weakest point at this point. I think the edges are fine. I don't think they're anything like amazing. So you can kind of see an array of the edges. They're okay. Like, they're nothing to write home about. They're nothing that you're going to be like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I do think they stepped it up a lot with this one. Like, that is a fantastic design. I don't think any of the other ones are really like, oh my god, I have to have this edge design. For me, it is definitely the cover that is selling these books to me. That being said, we obviously have quite a few to read. And so I actually did put a poll out a little while ago. Like, it was probably like a couple weeks ago now at this point, because I wasn't sure how I wanted to do the formatting of these Purge videos. Because they're not, again, they're not exactly Purge videos, but I am purging this collection and we are focusing on this collection, which is why I think it does count towards the Purge. And, you know, it could be bad. Like, I could be reading these and really not liking them because there's a couple of iffy ones in here. But for the very first poll, the winner was actually To Cage a Wild Bird, which I'm really excited about and also really nervous about because this is the one that I think is going to be the best out of all of them that I have. So it's a little scary. And I was actually surprised because I think I put Half City in the poll. I have the poll. I'll put the poll up here. I think I took a screenshot of it, but I put the poll up here. I really thought Half City was gonna win, but it didn't, which was really kind of a big surprise. So anyway, we are going to be reading To Cage a Wild Bird first. I do plan to do about 3 books per video, so we could have quite a few books in this series, and I will be getting more. So this series could last forever. Like, this series could last a really, really long time if I don't catch up. Because the point is to catch up with the Purges. Cage a Wild Bird first, dystopian book. I just put the second poll up. I don't remember what I put in the second poll. I think I put The Wicked Sea. I think I put To Become Darkness. I think We Become Darkness. I think I put this one in there. I might have put Heart's Gambit. I don't remember. This is where I'm starting to get shaky. I'm like, what did I put in there? And then I think I put The Book of Blood and Roses. So this may have been the options for the next one, but I should know whenever the poll runs out because I pretty much just let it run out until it's like the day of. So I think this is the options for the next one. But as of right now, we are reading To Cage a Wild Bird. I think for this poll, what I want to win is The Wicked Sea, just because it's so pretty and it's the one I'm most interested in because I just got it, which, you know, is not great. The longer it goes between me buying the book and me reading the book, the less interest I have. But yeah, I really do want to read this one. So I kind of hope this one wins. I'm basically going to read 3. Once I get 3 fully completed books, that's when the video will end and we will move on to the next one. Obviously, that means there could be like 7. It could be all of them. If I DNF all of them in here, every single book could be in this video. So that's how it's gonna work. That's how my purchases generally work. 3 completed books per video, but that could mean a bunch of DNFs in between. Let's get reading To Cage a Wild Bird. This is a 5-star prediction for me. I just did my update for my other video, but I figured I would do this one as well. But we are 149 pages into To Cage a Wild Bird. I think chapters, I don't remember what chapter I'm on. I'm on some chapter, but it's page 149. And I am enjoying it. I am getting a little bit bored. But I really loved the opening. I loved the hunt aspect of this. I like the dystopian aspect of this. I am a little bored now, though. Like, we're getting a little bit repetitive, and I'm not sure where this is going to go to make it less repetitive. So this is following our main character, who is a bounty hunter in this very dystopian world where there was warfare and rebellion, etc., and the government has squashed these rebellions, and they have implemented this very strict rule of order. And if you break any rules, you are sent to, at least in this area, you are sent to this prison, and wealthy people and law-abiding citizens can come to this prison and choose to hunt you. And so they pay money, obviously. They pay money based on your rank, like you're ranked in this prison. And there's a whole hierarchy in the prison based off of those rankings. And it's all about surviving these hunts because you can survive them. Like, there is a limited amount of time. So it is possible to survive them. So our main character ends up going to this prison because something happens and she has to go there. I obviously can't say what it is, but she ends up having to go there, and she is working with the rebels. And it's kind of a rebellion versus the system type of story. And the prison's really fascinating. But like I said, there's only so much you can do with the same setting over and over and over again that it's getting repetitive. I also really don't like the love interests. I don't know which one is actually the love interest and which one isn't, unless they both are, or I don't know what's going on with that. But there is a love interest that's a guard, and there's a love interest that is another inmate. And you could tell me they were the same person. They have no distinguishing features other than where they sit as guard versus inmate. They are identical. Their mannerisms are the same, the way they act. I am picturing them as the same person, and that makes it less fun. Ooh, hand right here. Makes it less fun. My other hand was going numb. I was going to switch hands, but apparently that's not going to work. So it's less fun to like root for the romance because they are no personality people. Like, they exist as cutout paper boys. Like, that is what they are. No personality, no distinguishing features, just nothing. I hope more distinguishing factors happen between those two potential love interests, because otherwise I am finding repetitiveness to this book that I am not enjoying. And I think the romance is supposed to be carrying it, like her interactions with them, I think is supposed to be carrying it a little bit in this section while they kind of figure out what they're supposed to be doing. But I don't think that's actually working. So hopefully that gets a little bit better. And I think I should be done pretty quickly. I don't think I'm going to update again. Like, I'm not 50% in yet, but I'm far enough in that I'm like, I don't know how much more is actually going to happen that I'm going to have too much to say about. So unless something crazy happens, I will be finishing it sometime today or tomorrow. I don't have the best of news for this one. I have finished Cage a Wild Bird, and I'm giving it 2.5 stars. I really did enjoy this one. I really love the beginning, and then the middle section got so repetitive. I really hated the romance, which is very unfortunate. I'm hoping it's going to be, I'm going to try the second book, but I'm hoping it's an ACOTAR situation because there is a possibility of another romance. But I did not buy the romance in this at all. I did not like him. I didn't care for him. I kind of thought it just felt icky. There was something about the romance that I did not like. And I was always waiting for this person to be revealed as like a bad guy. And when it never happened, I was really disappointed. And he was just such a Tamlin. He was such a Tamlin character where he was just like always on top of our main character at all times. And I get it, it's a death situation, but it's like, oh my gosh, bro. Like, you're like literally constantly in my face and making situations somewhat a little bit more dangerous because you're not being careful with how you're feeling about things. Like, he was just driving me nuts. I did not like him. I didn't like the dynamic, didn't like their interactions. I could have done without a romance completely in this book, to be honest. I would have preferred that over the romance. That's how much I didn't like the romance. So I am curious where it's going to go from here, if we're going to continue with this romance or we're going to pivot to a different character that I think could actually be the romance that was slightly set up at the beginning of this book. So I could see that happening, and I really hope that's the case. If it's not the case, the second book probably will be a DNF for me. I just don't think this is executed very well. I had a really, really good idea. I loved the beginning with her going to this prison. I loved the beginning of the prison section, and then it got so repetitive with a terrible romance, and then the ending was also fine. I think the biggest problem, I feel like you're not enjoying a book if there is a really, really sad moment that's supposed to be really, really sad and you feel nothing. Like, you feel nothing for that thing that happened. And that's kind of what happened in this, is there was a very big sad moment and I did not care. I did not care. I was like, oh, it's kind of a bummer. Like, ugh, bummer. Because that character arguably didn't really have much of a personality either. So I just think this is one of those books that has a fantastic idea, has some interesting characters, and then falls short on the actual execution of the story. So we will try the second one, but I don't have necessarily high hopes of actually enjoying this one. So 2.5. I have 3 copies of this book. I'm trying to figure out what to do. I feel like I'm going to keep all 3 copies. And then when I see the designs for the next book, that's when I'll decide which ones to keep for now, because I'm getting rid of all my copies, at least except for 1. And then if I DNF the second book, I'll get rid of all of them. Anyway, yeah. Not good. So anyway, moving on to the second book, I'm hoping for much better things. This book I also, unfortunately, do have 2 copies of. I have the Love Story Society edition of it, which is a nice little paperback. That probably will be the edition that I read. And then I do have a chunky edition, obviously, from Allurial, because, you know, this isn't a Allurial video, but Half City did end up winning the little poll. And I'm not that surprised. I feel like everybody and their brother is reading it right now. So I'm a little nervous because it does have such high ratings and people are raving about the book. And it is a like Buffy inspired story, or it feels like Buffy. So I'm really like fingers crossed hoping it's really good. So we're gonna move on to that one. I do have a couple other things that I kind of have to read for other things first that are like higher priority deadlines. Then we'll move on to Half City. I just finished my caretaker video and I keep forgetting that I really need to do an update for Half City. We are on chapter 17 and to be honest, I don't really understand the hype on this one. Ooh, I went into this with like super high expectations because everybody and their brother was loving this book. Everybody read it for like Realmathon and thought it was like the best thing since sliced bread. And I just don't really see it. Like, it's fun. I don't think the writing is necessarily that good. And I'm sad because I would have went into this with like normal expectations and I feel like, ooh, I'm sideways. And I feel like it's because this thing in the back is sideways when we put it up. So anytime I film in front of it, it's like not right. I feel like if I'd gone into this with regular romantasy expectations, I would feel a lot differently and I would have been expecting the writing. But because so many people were like, oh my God, this is such an amazing book, I'm kind of expecting like a little bit of a higher caliber of writing and storytelling, and I'm not getting that from this. Now, I will say, because it does my biggest pet peeve in romantasy books is coming face to face with the romantic interest, and he's actively dangerous and potentially might be there to kill you, and you stop what you're doing to talk about how smoking hot he is. I can't, it was like on page 30. It was so early. So I'm just like, why? That is my biggest. One of these days I kind of want a romantic interest to be ugly. Can we do that? Because I'm so sick of these hot guys showing up and the women turning into a mess because they see the hot dude and they're like, oh, I don't know how to fight anymore. I know I'm fighting for my life, but like, look at his abs. Like, I know that they're nice. His shirt is so tight I can see them through it. So it's stuff like that. that makes me really frustrated with a book. So the writing just feels clunky and it feels just like annoying because of that. So I have switched to the audiobook, and I will say switching to the audiobook has helped immensely my enjoyment of this book. The narrator is so good. She kind of elevates the writing with how she's telling the story. So I would definitely recommend so far audiobook for this one. So we'll see how I feel about it. I mean, I do like the characters, although I feel like our main character is kind of weak for somebody who's been fighting their entire life. So the point of this is that our main character is a hunter and she hunts all sorts of creatures and stuff, and she is a special hunter because she was born a specific type of hunter. So most hunters are revealed, like their powers are revealed at the age of 21. Hers have been there since she was a child, same as her father and a bunch of people in the line of her family, but it's not like a good thing. She has to hide it. And I just find it so strange because she'll be in like fight scenes and she'll actively be worse than other people. And I'm like, no, I want her to like kick ass. And like, she kind of kicked ass in one scene, but that was it. But it's like, I want her to be better than everyone else because she should be, but all these other people seem to know more than her somehow, and they just came into their powers within the last year. So that's also putting me off a little bit. So I'm hoping we get more of her being kind of a badass, because I want her to be a badass. I want to follow a badass person who's been training their whole life, that it finally makes sense that they actually know what they're doing. So I feel like we get a lot of these books and the person like has never fought in their life and they're just like a natural, and within 2 months they're beating everybody. No, she like actually has been fighting her whole life against these evil creature things that are really, really strong. So I want her to be better than everybody else and show them up. And that's just not happening right now. I see what this book is trying to do. I can see myself really enjoying it. I just need it to kind of focus in on itself and stop talking about how hot Reed is. Like I just want some like demon hunting action and not thinking about his abs anytime we see him. So that's where I'm at with this one. So it's mixed. We're mixed results right now, but hopefully it gets better. And I am excited to continue this after reading The Caretaker and going through this whole video because my brain needs a rest. And I do think this is going to be a good brain break. I'm exhausted. I'm so tired. So I'm going to go edit 5 hours of footage and then hopefully start listening to this again tomorrow. We have finished Half City. Like, I just finished it like 5 minutes ago. And I have to be honest, I didn't really like this. Like, I didn't hate it, and I was entertained, and I actually did love the found family aspect of it. That was my absolute favorite part about this, was everyone being friends with each other. I loved that. Sophie, Peter, Sophie specifically, I absolutely loved. So I did love the found family aspect of this. I did not like the romance. Now, I am going to continue in this series because if you've read this, you understand why I'm going to continue in this series not liking the romance. Because there's a chance this could go in a very, very interesting direction that I always am hoping books go in if the romance is too insta-love, because this was painfully insta-lovey. So that's why I didn't really like this one. I just really didn't like the romance. I actually liked the storyline. I liked when they were fighting things. I do think our main character wasn't as interesting as I was hoping. Again, she was supposed to be like this crazy badass and stuff, and I just didn't get that vibe until very late in the book. And even very late in the book, I still felt like she was making really dumb decisions. I do like the not the final twist. The final twist is like super, super obvious, like the bad evil. But I did like the twist about a different character. I thought that was actually really good, and it totally caught me off guard, totally got me. So I appreciated that twist. But everything else about this book just felt super formulaic. Like, I've read it 1,000 times. Like, I feel like I have read this book so many times before, and I'm very confused why this is so popular. Like, I really am. I don't get the hype on this one. I really don't get the hype on this one, and I feel like I'm gonna get in a lot of trouble for this one because I feel like everybody and their brother loves this book. But kind of thought it was very mediocre. Thought it was kind of very, very mid. It was just sad because I have 2 copies. Again, I do think that potentially I could really love this later because of the capabilities of the romantic situation, but we're gonna see. So I will continue in the series. I'm just like, just not very impressed, which is really unfortunate. So that being said, we're finished with that one. I'm giving it a 3-star, and we are moving on to potentially our final book of the video, which I wasn't really expecting. I might try and do one more depending on how fast we read the next one. But the next poll, these polls came out a long time ago. It took me forever to get to this video because of The Caretaker and everything else that's going on. But the next poll, Anathema did win finally. I feel like I've had Anathema in a couple of different polls and it's not won so far. But finally, we are reading Anathema. I've heard great things about this. I've been wanting to read this ever since Wicked Reading or Sarah read this one, and she absolutely loved it. Although I don't think she liked the second book in the series. However, I know she loved the first one, and I think she was reading it actually when I like met her during Escape the Readathon, and she loved it. So hopefully I end up liking it. I feel like if I don't like this book, Sarah is going to disown me and we're not going to be friends, parasocial friends anymore. But anyway, so we're going to start Anathema. All I know is it's like gothic horror fantasy, not like horror, but horror fantasy potentially. So I'm hoping for a dark gothic fun time. This is one of the books that I actually don't have the Allurial edition, but I thought it was fun to kind of include everything that I've bought that was chosen for Allurial, so we can kind of get a better idea of Allurial's choices overall, since I did buy that and it is an Allurial pick. So let's go read Anathema. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I like this one way better than the other two, because this really is not going well so far. I thought Half City would be a 5-star, and I really didn't like it, to be honest. So we have made it 262 pages into Anathema, which really isn't that far. I think it's 37%. And Sarah, if you are watching this, please turn this off right now to preserve our parasocial friendship. Please stop watching because I'm about to rip this to shreds. So don't watch. Don't watch. So I'm DNFing it. I am DNFing it at I think it's 37%. 262 pages or chapter 29. What is romantasy? Like, what possessed this person to write this book? If I had to listen to / read the word, I can't say it. I was like practicing before this video. I can't say it. If I hear or read COCK one more time, I will lose my freaking mind. The number of times that was said, and the fact that there was literally a scene where he couldn't kill our main character because he was so overcome with lust for her while she was sleeping. Are you kidding me? I feel like no one in their right mind would think that I would like this book. And I think Sarah said even like she wasn't sure if I would like it. No. So this is following our main character, and she's like, it's kind of like a very Puritan feeling culture, which I did appreciate. I actually enjoyed the first part of this book. She is dealing with a very puritanical type culture where women are seen as lesser than, expected to be pure, etc. And so she was abandoned when she was a baby and was picked up and taken care of by this family. But because it was outside of these haunted, terrible demon woods, everyone kind of thinks she's a witch, and she's basically been treated bad her entire life. But she's been living with her sister at this house, and now she's dealing with potentially being sold off to like a suitor. And so there's like this whole drama. Then there's like a weird incest but not incest plotline because they're not actually related, but they grew up with that person being their uncle, and it's just very questionable. It's very questionable. And then it's just so sexualized, like everything, every interaction of anybody. I feel like if someone had an interaction with a tree, it would be sexualized. Everything is sexualized in this book. I just don't like it. I don't like it. Now, the thing is, I do think this world is pretty cool. I think the actual writing, not like the content, but the actual like style, the actual writing is actually very good. Now, do I think it entirely makes sense? Not always. I do think this is a very ambitious book, which I appreciate, but sometimes I get lost in the sauce sometimes in this book when I was reading it, especially when switching between Zavander's chapters and our main character's chapters. I can't say her name. I will screw up saying her name if I try. Mavis. So Mavis chapters are very kind of almost mundane, like she's just going about her business and trying to deal with stuff that's happening. And then Zavander's chapters are like ripping people to shreds and blackmailing and scorpions and all this type of stuff. So it almost feels like at the beginning you're reading two different books, which is kind of cool, but also very disorienting at the same time. So I wasn't like the biggest fan of that either. I just don't like Zavander's chapters that much. Just again, based on how he talks, I don't like him. So that I feel like poses a problem. So I just pretty much didn't like anything about this one. I'm just gonna put it right there. I basically didn't like anything about this one. So I was worried this wouldn't feel like a Purge, but apparently it does. So Anathema is definitely a miss. I'm glad I didn't end up picking up the aardvark copy, or I almost got a deluxe edition like 3 or 4 times. But maybe, you know, with me not liking this and not wanting to continue, I dodged a bullet because a lot of people, it seems like, did not like Eldritch. So maybe I dodged a bullet that way, but I cannot continue for another like 400 pages. So we are DNFing this. I gotta pick a new book. And this video is supposed to come out Sunday, and it is Monday afternoon, and I gotta pick a new book, and that means Instagram has to pick a new book. So let's see. I have to pick 4 options, and I just brought this up. I think this is Missing in the Veins of the Drowning and Arcane Academy, but I kind of just want to focus on these because these are my actual Allurial ones, and the other 2 are just regular picks. So let's see what we have. What do I want to read? I don't really want anything too chunky, so I'm definitely not gonna do City of Iron and Ivy. I think I'm gonna put The Wicked Sea in there because I actually kind of really want to read The Wicked Sea, but apparently nobody wants me to read The Wicked Sea. I think Wicked Sea, Blood and Roses, I could do a vampire story right now. We Become Darkness is a newer one people were liking, and The Lies That Summon the Night is a very short one. So I think I'm gonna just do these 4 in the middle, and I'll put those up on Instagram and see what you guys pick. So I'll let you know when you guys pick something. I'll probably put it up for like 24 hours. So we probably won't start reading the next one until tomorrow. So I gotta figure out what I want to read the rest of today. When I come back, I'll have an update on what we're reading next. So the poll results are in, and it is The Wicked Sea. I also am on super crunch time, and I have to pretty much read it all today and tomorrow. So that should be interesting. And again, I will DNF. I mean, if it comes down to it, we'll push the video, but it's Friday, and this is supposed to come out Sunday, so I don't really have time to pick another one, but that's how the Purge works. So I mean, if I don't like it, I don't like it. And yeah, I'm only a chapter in though. I'm barely a chapter in. I enjoyed the prologue. Chapter in, and there's already weird things happening. So, and you know, let me know if you're a spy. If you're a spy, let me know if this is accurate. But at least in my understanding, if you are infiltrating a palace, going through tunnel systems and actually in the palace and you have to make a quick escape, my assumption is you want to be wearing shoes because rocks and glass and all sorts of shit that can cut your feet up. So immediately she's talking about how they're infiltrating the palace and they're not wearing shoes or socks, and I immediately was just like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. That doesn't make a lot of sense. I feel like the only time you wouldn't wear shoes is if you were like in the palace, like you were a guest of the palace and you were trying to steal something from like a room down the hallway. I could 100% see not wearing shoes and socks to do something like that. But these people are coming into the palace, trying to steal something and then leaving. Again, there's rocks and glass and all sorts of shit, and it just seems so strange. Like, you think you would step on something like that and that would make a lot more noise than wearing shoes and just knowing how to walk in shoes, right? I feel like that's pretty accurate, because I feel like spies and burglars and stuff, they're pretty well versed. Oh, that's my thumb. They're pretty well versed in like walking stealthily with shoes on. I feel like that's part of the training. So I'm already griping a little bit, and it's been like 5 pages. Might be a couple more pages than that because there was a prologue, but it hasn't been long. But you know what? We'll see how it goes from here. But I'm a little bit nervous. I don't even know what the book is about at this point. I don't know what the book is about, but that already threw me off. Well, it looks like we have a real purge happening, because I really thought, like, I really thought this was gonna be like the lamest purge. It was gonna be primarily me reading just 3 books, because I was like, oh my god, we're gonna read Half City, we're gonna read To Cage a Wild Bird, and we're gonna read Anathema. Like, these are amazing picks. I'm gonna have 3 books. It's gonna be called a purge, but it's not really a purge. Oh no. We're purging. We're purging. It's going badly. It's going very badly, because I actually have 2 updates, because I did end up reading, I talked about Anathema. DNF'd Anathema, then we picked up The Wicked Sea. DNF'd. I did DNF this one. I didn't want to talk about it, and when I DNF'd it, I was panicking because I still was thinking that I was going to put a video out for Sunday, and I DNF'd this like Friday night, and I was like, oh no, oh no, this is not going well. And I pretty much said, oh yeah, it's not happening, and now it's Tuesday, DNF this, then picked up this. I'll go back through them, but it's just chaos right now. This one, the next one, I've DNF'd this one as well. It's Tuesday, so this isn't coming out until Sunday now. Tomorrow is actually going to be an unboxing. Oh no, there's an unboxing. But yeah, so Wicked Sea. This is just bad. It's just kind of bad. I didn't like how this opened. I reread the opening like 100 times. I want to say I read about 50 pages. I don't even think I made it that far. How far did I make it in this book? I already took out my bookmark for it. I got to where she met the boy, the warlock with wings, and I checked out. I checked out with the angel wings, and it was just laughable, and I don't like the main character at all. Main character is legitimately like the bane of my existence. I don't like her decision making. I don't like her dialogue. I don't like literally anything about this. And then I did try to switch to the audiobook, and the audiobook is atrocious. Like, it's really bad. So anyway, basically this is following our main character, who is a secret mermaid, siren, whatever the heck she is. They're called something else. Oh, it says mermaid, but they're called something like else in the story, I want to say. And so she's a secret mermaid. I can't. It immediately opens up her with this group of people, and she knows that there's like 2 other mermaids in the group, and they are sneaking into like the palace. I want to say it's the palace, or they're sneaking into like the crypt or something, because they are trying to like steal from the dead wealthy, because that's just how they do it. And so they're like going through these nasty underground areas, but it's like in a really massively like guarded area. She does something reprehensible, like to the point where I like actively don't like her because of that decision. And I get morally great characters. This was like actually kind of an evil act that she did, especially after the inner monologue that we have been getting. And so she did that and I was like confused. I was like, wait a minute, is she trying to help them or is she not? No, she's actually just an asshole. She's an asshole and I don't want to root for her. And then shows up the warlock. So there's like warlocks in this world that have wings and they're like abominations. And so I got to the point where like there's like a pact between the two of them, and it didn't make a lot of sense to me. Like I was really trying to understand and my brain kept going, no, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. So this book just was bizarre. It was bizarre. I don't think it thought too much about what actually was trying to go on. And I'm so upset because this is probably one of the prettiest books that I own. Like it's actually stunning, especially like even like this interior artwork. Like part of me wants to cut this out and like frame this because it's so pretty. But like, oh God, it makes me so sad. I would have DNF'd this actually earlier if it wasn't so pretty because I would love to like frame this. Like this is such a pretty design. I would have loved to frame this. This is one of the prettiest things I've ever seen, but I hate this. I hate this. So we did DNF this, and after I DNF this, I immediately put up a poll because I was like, okay, let me put up the shortest books because maybe I can get through something. If I really, really like it, I can get through it in like 24 hours and we can end this and put this up Sunday. No. No. So anyway, the Book of Blood and Roses ended up winning the next poll, and I was like, yes, it's short, it seems really good, it's vampire sapphic, it's taking place at a school, oh my God, I'm gonna love this. I arguably like this one less, but for different reasons. I will say it is for different reasons. So this one is following our main character who is a vampire hunter, and it is very obvious from the get-go that the big secret, like we know what the big secret is. We know what the big secret is. Like they're trying to be like all sneaky about it, and I'm sure it'll be revealed at the very end. I didn't even check. I'm so confident that the person who you think is good is actually bad that I didn't even check if I was correct. But basically, so our vampire hunter is given a job. She works for like an organization, and so she's given a job where she has to infiltrate this vampire school that is now accepting humans, and she is supposed to go find this the Book of Blood and Roses, and it is supposed to be the book that has all the secrets of like killing vampires. Cool. Fun. I think that sounds fun. I think that sounds really, really cool. Very exciting. This was so boring. It was so boring and super instant lust with the romantic interest, like her roommate. And I was like, oh, this kind of sucks. This kind of sucks. And it's a lot of her just like meandering around being really bad at her job. Like she already had people suspicious of her immediately because she's so bad at her job. Like the whole point is for her to integrate with the vampires. She is in the middle of a lecture and he says something about vampires and she goes, like an exaggerated eye roll to the point that the professor sees her and goes, you got something to add? And she has to like make something up on the spot. And it's like, you're the worst spy. Like you are actively so bad at this job. You just like don't have to roll your eyes. You don't have to interact. You just have to like suck it up for a little while. I also thought that the blood type thing was really weird. There's like she has a specialty blood type that vampires are addicted to, and she has to take garlic pills to mask her scent. But like, if vampires can smell things, they would smell the garlic in her blood. If they can smell that, they would smell the garlic. And garlic is outlawed at the school. So I feel like it would be super obvious that she's a hunter. Everything she does makes her super obvious that she is there to kill vampires. And I was laughing while reading this. And I only made it 50 pages. All of this happened in 50 pages. Less, I think 43. 43 pages, all of this happened in 43 pages. So I also DNF this one. This one, arguably, I don't know. Both of these are really bad. Like, for different reasons, both of them are very bad. This one was also boring, which is an extra sin to me, personally. Yeah, so it's turned into a real purge, because now we're down Anathema, The Wicked Sea, and the Book of Blood and Roses. Luckily, I do think hopefully, fingers crossed. I've read this author before. It looks like Arcana Academy has one, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start it because it is a chunkier book and I do want to get it done early. But I want to enjoy my time reading it. So I am going to take my time, reading it and hope for the best. The first page was really good and I like the writing already. And like I said, I've read this author before, so I've liked some of their books and I have not liked other ones, so we'll see. But it's never about the writing, it's about just the content. So I liked The Deal with the Elf King, I think is what I read and actually really liked. I think I gave it like a 4 to a 4.5. The second book in the series I didn't like, and I think I tried the third one and I DNF'd it. But again, it's not about writing, it's just about content. So fingers crossed this will be more up my alley than some of the other ones and will be closer to how I vibed with Deal with Elf King, because I think I also read the first, not the Air Awakened series. I do want to try it, but it's the other one. I think it's like a sorceress on the cover. I liked that one too. So we're gonna see. I'm, like I said, fingers crossed that we're gonna like it. It's in the other room where I would talk about it, but I don't know anything really about it other than it opened up with her in a jail cell, but I do know it takes place in a school. So hopefully this school setting works better for me. But yeah, we're in it. We're in the Purge. I wasn't expecting this. I thought we'd go through 3 books and we'd be done. We're on book 6. Really didn't expect this, but I am now prioritizing Allurial purges because now I'm like, oh, I need to not get these books. I need to not, because even the books I've read, I didn't like. I didn't like anything that I've read in this. Half City was fine. It was fine. I think it was way overhyped, and that's part of the reason why I didn't enjoy it, but I was just really bored by that one. So like, I didn't like any of these so far. Yeah, and Arcana Academy I didn't even get from Allurial. I just got a regular copy. We're gonna go read Arcana Academy. I'll let you know when I'm a little bit more into the book, like what it's actually about. I am officially DNFing Arcana Academy and I'm really upset. I'm really upset because I loved how this book opened, but the second they actually entered the school, actual Arcana Academy, I hate it. I hate it. I hate the characters. I hate the plot. The pacing is insane. And I was looking at reviews because I feel like a crazy person. And everyone is like, this is a slow burn romance. And I feel like I have a different definition of slow burn romance compared to everybody else. Because to me, this is breakneck speed romance. Because he's like already obsessed with her. Like the second they met. And I'm sure it'll be explained away by he just like knows her because he's been spying on her for a while, so he's obsessed with her or something, or they're gonna play it off like he actually wasn't obsessed with her. But like the shit he says to her, I don't care that they're not making out, I don't care that they're not having sex. That is not to me the only thing that makes a slow burn romance. Just not having physical intimacy that way or expressing your love, that's not the only thing that changes whether it's a slow burn romance or not. It's normal daily interactions to me as well. So the fact that he is already like they're the point of this is there's like a big fake dating, fake marriage situation happening, which I hated the setup for that. Hated just how it was plopped in our laps, like the way it was. I absolutely loathed it. And how casual he is with touching her immediately upon a second meeting is crazy to me. And to me, that is why it does not feel like a slow burn. And also he's like saying these things to her like, good girl, and he's talking about how amazing she is right now and how she is like the most amazing thing he's ever seen in his entire life. And I'm like, slow burn my ass. Slow burn my ass. I don't think this is slow burn. And again, I know I'm going to have some arguments like, yeah, they're not confessing their love, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Like, immediately off the bat, he is super comfortable with literally climbing on top of her practically. Like, I am just, that is what I'm picturing when he's around her. He's just like hanging all over her. And I'm just like, again, this was actually my problem, and I think it was, oh man, which ones? I've talked about it before. Second Death of Locke and Isle in the Silver Sea are identical books to, I think it's the Second Death of Locke. They're like identical in my head. I don't know what it is. I think Second Death of Locke is why I also did not like it, is the main characters were super affectionate towards each other from the beginning. At least it kind of made more sense in Second Death of Locke. But like in this, he's like, yeah, it's for the marriage of convenience thing, but it's like, even when you're alone, you're like touching her, being in her damn personal space, like back up a couple steps. He gives me the biggest ick. And once I realized that he gave me an ick, which was actually about 50 pages ago, because I'm about 150 pages in. I tried to continue, but once the ick was realized, it was over. It was game over. I even checked to see if there was another love interest. That's how much I was like trying with this book, but no. No, he's the love interest. I can't do it. The ick has been conceptualized and realized, and it is moving forward, and every scene that she has with him, I want to scream. And everyone's like, this is enemies to lovers. And I'm like, this is not enemies to lovers. This is fake enemies to lovers. This is the enemy lover situation that people complain about because she hates him for reasons. But he is like obsessed with her, and it's only 130 pages in when she grabs him and cries on his shoulder for relief, and they're having this conversation about how much they are like appreciating each other. And I'm just like, this isn't enemies to lovers. This isn't slow burn. This isn't enemies to lovers. I don't know what that's about. So neither of those things are true. And again, I just have such an ick about him. Also, the pacing is insane. I think I said it before, but the pacing is crazy in this book and I hate this book for other reasons. Like the reasons people are giving are not the reasons that I'm seeing. A lot of people said this is really, really slow. I think it's breakneck speed. Like at 150 pages, we just had a reveal that's end of book. It's an end of book reveal going into a second book. What? And it was like, there was nothing to lead up to this crazy reveal. Like, there was no explanation really of this magic system that would make this reveal make any kind of sense. And there's no impact of this reveal because, again, we don't have enough background of this magic system for it to be like, oh my God, that's crazy. Instead, it was like, wait, did I miss something? Like, do I need to go back and like relearn what's happening? So no. I almost bought a Fairy Loot copy because I thought it was absolutely stunning. It was one of the Romantasy picks that I was actually really sad about missing. So glad I did not buy a pick of that. I am so happy that I did not buy the Fairy Loot edition. Like, thank God I did not waste my money on that because wow, I hate this. I hate this so much. And also, all the characters are so flat. Like, besides the main two characters, the side characters so far that we've been like introduced to and who keep popping up, I could not tell you who was who. They are all the same. They are all the same character. I don't think this is very good. I think this was my last Elise Kova, based on the other things that I have also not loved. Again, I really just don't like her role building or writing style. That's what I struggled with in the other books that I was met about or actively didn't like. So I do think we're done with Elise Kova here. So I put up another poll. I actually put up another poll when I was still trying to push through because I was like, just in case. This does seem like it's going towards DNF territory. I even was thinking about soft DNFing it and like, oh, maybe I'm just not in the right. No. No. We're done. We're done with this. Especially with that recent reveal. I was like, this is stupid. Like, this is actively so stupid. I am DNFing Arcana Academy, and I have the poll up for the next one. I think in this poll, it's in the veins of the drowning, the ordeals. Oh, I don't even remember what I put in there. We become darkness. And, in the stars are dying, something like that. I hope kind of that one. It's shorter. And actually, you know what? I don't care. This has been a nightmare of a vlog. I am probably canceling my Allurial subscription. Oh man, this is rough. This is brutal. Like, this has actually been a absolutely brutal video. So a lot of unhauling. So anyway, I'm gonna let that poll run for the next 24 hours, take a little bit of a break, probably switch to reading something else. I think I'm gonna honestly read The Mistake by Elle Kennedy because I have convinced myself after this one that I don't like reading anymore. Like, we've hit that point where, no, because I just gave a 5-star book yesterday. I read Miss Mabel Goes Back to the Chopping Block with my mom, and I finished it last night and I gave it a 5-star. I loved it. I had so much fun with it. So that proves I enjoy reading, but this book really is testing me. It's really testing me. So we have ended up pivoting because, like I said, I did end up DNFing Arcana Academy, and after going over the plot to the point that I was at with one of my friends, I definitely agree with that decision to DNF that book. And I'm a little bit nervous because I forgot I still have one Elise Kova that was actually a gift from somebody, and now I'm like, oh no. Oh no. So I will be trying one more Elise Kova, but we'll see how that one goes because I think that one's young adult, so it could be a little bit different. So we'll see how that one goes before I completely write her off. However, like I said, last time I talked to you, we were putting up a new poll for something, and here is the poll: In the Veins of the Drowning 1. However, we have been derailed and the video is ending. It is ending because I picked something else up because I accidentally, so my TikTok is primarily animals, whale egg hunts. It's all sorts of things. It has generally nothing to do with book talk or books or anything like that. It is a space that I can separate myself from the book world and just watch just fun stuff. It's generally just fun videos, lots of dog and cat videos. However, there are like 3 book reviewers that I do follow, and so sometimes every once in a while I'll get random book talk stuff, and so I got a random book talk thing, and unfortunately, it was for a book for this purge. It is Worthy of Fate. So she held up Worthy of Fate, and it was just the regular cover, but I knew what the regular cover was like, so I was like, oh no, because she said the way that she described this book, she hated it. She hated it. I'm gonna put her TikTok handle up. I don't normally follow her, so I don't know what her other content is, but this video is really, really good. I'll link the actual video below, and I'll put her handle up here if you want to check her out. She hated it and said it was the Hunger Games. It was a ripoff of the Hunger Games and Fourth Wing together. I think that's what she said. I definitely know the Hunger Games, because then she calls it the Horny Games, and I was like, oh no. No. And so apparently just everything about this was terrible. And so I was like, okay, well, the point of the purge is to get rid of these books and not hold on to them. So I picked this one up next, and I was like, you know, based on that description, it's very disappointing. It does feel like something I'm not going to end up enjoying, but I'm going to give it a solid shot. I'm going to give it a solid chance. It ended up with me sending screenshots of things in this book to my best friend. I only made it 43 pages. I made it to chapter 6. I'm like 3 pages into chapter 6. But this book not only is incredibly poorly written, like holy shit. It was, I went to the bathhouse to bathe. That's the type of shit that we're talking about. Just like little things where you need to change where you're putting certain words and it's fine. But it's like it wasn't edited for that, because I feel like that is something an editor would pick up so quickly. But all of it was like that. Like those chunks of paragraphs I was sending to her. Like, am I crazy or is this super poorly written? There was an immediate sex scene within the first 43 pages, not even with the romantic interest, just with some dude. And that already to me is a red flag. And that combined with the poor writing, I was already not excited about it. I was not excited about it. I don't like what was happening. It also was moving at such a weirdly fast pace. And then we got to the, I'm gonna read some of this. Okay, so I'm trying to find the chapter where, there we go. Udon's balls, Kaya, you look like shit. You know, one of these days, the god of mischief is going to come down here and smack you in the face with those balls of his if you keep cursing them as much as you do. She shrugged her shoulders, like I'd oppose a god's sack in my face. Is this what literature is now? Is this what's happening? And you know, a joke like that, maybe later in the book, but not on page 16. Not on page 16. That is like our first introduction to another character as well. So absolutely not. Then we get to the point where I think this is where I finally quit. So the point of this is she is marked for these trials, and she has finally been called upon to go to these trials. And this author did not know how to tell the audience information without it sounding like she is literally telling us. So we end up going to the training grounds with our bestie Melina, who we were talking about God's balls with. Melina's like, let me distract you while we're fighting. Let's do that because I know you're really upset. So we suddenly have this very strange back and forth where I'm trying to find where exactly it is because it gets a little in here. Yeah, so Melina's like asking her questions, like trying to distract her, and is asking her questions she already knows the answer to. So Kaya's answering it and just giving us like word vomit of everything that's about to happen. So the trial consists of 3 tests, I said as we circled each other. The task of each test is unknown until the sages call upon the spirits in a ritual at the temple. The first test, the test of loyalty. I'm skipping some of like the in-between where they're beating each other up. The second test is a test of strength. The third, a test of fate. That much has always remained the same, but the details of each test vary. And it's like, why are you talking about these things like this? Like, it's like reading a textbook. Why aren't we just experiencing these things as they're happening? Like, I feel like I've never read a trial book where we open the book up with the main character detailing out exactly what's going to happen in each test as if it's like an encyclopedia. Right, and it's different every century and varies with the required task. I stretch out my jaw, feeling it pop. This is the one where everyone dies? Melina didn't give me the chance to recover, lunging at me once again with her other hand. Not all die, but yes, most of the deaths in the trial occur during the second test. If a contestant completes the first 2 tests, one of 2 things can happen. They will either be deemed worthy by one of the gods, gifted with great magic, and allowed to proceed in the third test, or they will be sent back to the temple with nothing to show for their victory other than their life. Like, again, this could be, like, you could have rewritten this whole scene because it feels like we are just being told information for the sake of telling the audience information. It is completely removing you from the story. This should have been a situation of her not knowing things, like everything is kept a secret, and then she shows up and an orator explains to the contestants what is happening. And that's what happens in most trial books because it makes the most sense. It doesn't make sense for you, who has all the knowledge already, to be telling your best friend during the sparring match when your friend already knows. So it feels like it is for the sake of the audience. It feels like I am reading a book and being told something by the author and not the character. And I hate it. I hate it, and it's clunky, and it goes on for a while. And that's what I DNF'd. And again, that combined with the early sex scene, combined with the poor writing, combined with the storytelling style, all of that together is what is not working. You can have one thing. Like, I think in Direbound, there's a very early sex, I think, don't quote me on that. I think very early on in Direbound, there is a sex scene. I can forgive it because the writing actually was very engaging. It wasn't doing this weird telling you everything and 0 showing. And the writing is actually pretty good. But this misses on all 3 counts, and you just can't do that to have an engaging book. So unfortunately, I didn't even make it to the horny games. I just got 43 pages in. I think it's very poorly written, and I do not want to continue with this book. So unfortunately, because I did that, I then went to pick up In the Veins of the Drowning, and I got 3 sentences in, and I said, there is no way this is going to get a fair chance. I think I used my last good faith feelings on Worthy of Fate, and now that it was that atrocious and that bad at the beginning, I don't think I have any left. I don't think I have anything left in me. And we always come to this point in a purge. Generally, I do finish a book. I finish 3 books before we get to that point. It's always on the verge. But I don't know. I don't think this is the first time that I've only read 2 and kind of ran out of steam. But it's definitely happened this time. So we are not actually going to pick up In the Veins of the Drowning. It will not have a fair chance. It will be in the next Allurial Purge, which will probably be the rest of the books because I am going to be canceling Allurial. I will be canceling Allurial. Unfortunately, it is a situation of book of the month. So if they have already charged me and I have a credit, I will have to basically hold on to it until I absolutely find something I desperately, really, really want. The second I use that credit, I will be canceling it. This purge worked. This purge really worked because this is an atrocious subscription for me. I do think this is a great subscription for people who really love romantasy. They just really love romantasy and they can overlook a lot of flaws within a book, or they just really like certain storytelling styles. And unfortunately, pretty much every book in here is a miss for me. Like, it's bad. It's real bad. So let's do a quick recap. But yeah, we're done. we're done. I will have one more Allurial Purge where we'll shove the rest of the books in. Starting off this lovely video, we did have 2 books I actually finished and read. We had To Cage a Wild Bird, which is a 2. Every time I think about it, it's closer to a 1. I am going to get rid of this copy. I was going to hold on to it, but I'm not going to continue in this series. I'm not doing it. I'm getting rid of all my copies of To Cage a Wild Bird, which is all 3, which is very sad. So, To Cage a Wild Bird, 1.5 to 2 stars. Really didn't like this one. Thought it had a great opener and then was executed very poorly later on in the book. Don't think the writing's that bad, but it's just not engaging. Half City was probably my biggest miss. I will be keeping my copy of this and my other copy that I have for now. I do want to give the second book a chance. I am not sold on this. This is a weak 3-star. I don't even know if I gave it a 3.5 before. It's a 3-star. Upon looking back at this book, I enjoyed it even less thinking about it than I did while I was reading it. I think I just really wanted to like this one when I read it. So I definitely gave it some like grace that I normally wouldn't give to other books. So we'll say 3 for now. Maybe it's a 2.5. Then we're into the DNFs. We're not going to talk about them a lot. We DNF'd Anathema. I don't think this is the worst one out of the bunch though, which is crazy. This is actually probably the best. If I had to pick one of the 5 to go back and actually read, it would be Anathema. Then we DNF'd The Wicked Seed. This could... Worthy of Fate is the worst. We're just gonna say that immediately. Worthy of Fate is the worst one. Wicked Seed just wasn't my vibe, and again, didn't love the writing style, didn't really like the main character. That's what killed me in this one. It's really didn't like the main character and where this book was headed. Then we had the Book of Blood and Roses. I think our main character is just kind of dumb, and I can't abide by that. I can't abide a story where you have a character who is a spy and all she does is be bad at spying. Like, I cannot deal with a character like that, so I'm not going to continue in this. Then we had Arcana Academy. Thought for a second maybe this one actually would be the one. If I had to go back and read one, it would be this one. I still think it would be Anathema over this one. So anyway, Arcana Academy. Yeah, I'm so sick of talking about these books. Like, I immediately was like, okay, what am I going to say about it? Nothing. I'm going to say nothing about these because I don't want to think about them ever again. Then we had Worthy of Fate, which broke the video, broke me. Therefore, I don't want to deal with it anymore. I don't want to deal with this video anymore. I'm so over this. So unfortunately, because of this video, and sometimes this happens when I do purges, I am now in a supreme reading slump. I'm really glad I finished the novella that I was reading before starting Worthy of Fate. Thank God. I feel like I'm just gonna listen to Holopox. I'm okay. I think my brain is like, Holopox sounds good. Holopox sounds good. Otherwise, I think I'm just gonna watch a lot of reality TV. Because I don't want to read. I don't want to read. I feel like I don't enjoy reading anymore. I definitely don't want to read a fantasy book. Really could do without reading fantasy ever again right now. That's how upset I am after reading these books. I feel like I just need to... I was going to say I feel like I need to cut Romantasy out of my life, but then I think about Direbound and I think about Quicksilver. I'm struggling. I don't understand what makes Quicksilver and Direbound more and Fourth Wing more entertaining and better than this stack of books. Like, what is it? Like, obviously the writing and the characters I prefer more, but like, it just feels like it shouldn't be like these up here and then everything else that I've read in Romantasy down here. Like, I feel like there should be stuff like peppered in the middle. Like, there should be stuff right here. But no, it's either a 5-star or I hate it. Like, there just like is barely any in between. Half City is the closest to in between, but it's on the lower side. I'm not getting 4 stars. Conform. But Conform's like a dystopian, so it's cheating a little bit because I am biased towards dystopians. But yeah, so I don't know what to do. I think I need to switch to other genres for now. I think I might switch to I'm gonna do a mood reading vlog. That's what I'm gonna do. Unfortunately, this is not what we wanted. This is definitely not what I was hoping for. Yes, it is another subscription down. We tried it. It obviously completely failed for me, but I mean, at least we have information. That's all I can think about is at least, okay, I know things now. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely make sure to subscribe down below. If you're interested in the membership, definitely go check that out. I have new videos out almost every week. I guess if you made it this far into the video, leave a horse emoji or a feather emoji to let me know that you made it this far into the video and to represent the book that broke me and the video. So definitely leave a comment down below if you've read any of these. If you've enjoyed them, I would love to hear if you have read any of these that I DNF'd that you loved. Like, I would just love to hear a happy story about these books. Also though, if you didn't like them, also please tell me, because that makes me feel better that I'm not alone. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.